Well, a good evening to you, a good morning or a good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining us. This is The Defining Moment. My name is Anthony NDIEMA. It's always a pleasure having you. On The Defining Moment, we bring inspirational stories. We bring stories of redemption, stories of revival, stories of change. And today we have one such story, and I believe that this is going to be a blessing to you. It's going to, encourage you and also just minister to you. You might be going through issues, and we are living in a season where people are going through so much. Oh my goodness, so much. The levels of depression, the tough economic times, but through it all, God has held us and He keeps holding us. So karibu sana. Today I'm with DOREEN GACHERI'S, very powerful story. At some point she decided, I don't know if she decided or things decided to go down south, but things changed. But today she's here to tell of a different redemptive story. So karibu sana, and if you have a story you want to share with us, go to our social media pages at Elevate TV Kenya. It will be great to pull you in so that you can get to share that story with us. All right, so DOREEN, karibu sana.
Asante, nashukuru.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
I really thank God. Yes.
And thanks for making time to be with us today.
It's an honor.
All right, so yeah. DOREEN GACHERI'S.
Yes.
Wacha tuanzie hapo. Umezaliwa wapi? How was it for you, while you were growing up?
Okay. DOREEN is born from Meru. I come from Meru County.
All right.
I am the second born in a family of 4, 3 girls and 1 young man. He calls himself the first born because he's the tallest.
Wanakuanga na hiyo maneno sana.
Sababu ni yeye mdogo lakini ndo mrefu.
All right.
I am a mother of 1. She's 14 years old. We are going to Form 1 this year. It's
exciting.
It's very exciting.
Nice.
It's a beautiful journey and a story by itself.
All right.
I am born again, very born again. If it's not Jesus, it's nothing. Wow. That's because He first of all loved me and chose me from where I was, and He decided to clean me up, shape me up, mold me, and be the reason as to why I am today. I fellowship with Crisco Upper Room Fellowship under Presbyter Cato and Pastor John Lafont. Serve with brethren there in different departments, and yeah, it's been quite a journey. Crisco Upper Room is where I got born again from, not out of a decision,
right,
but out of a situation.
Lovely, and that's where we want to get into. So growing up, you had both your parents. It was okay.
I've grown up in the normal family setting, nuclear family settings, my father and my mother and my siblings. Life while growing up was quite challenging. There were a lot of issues coming up, and I would say I grew up in church.
Okay.
Methodist church, family background, yes. That's where my parents, from both sides, from both families, even before they got married, that's where they were brought up. Okay. So I found them going to a Methodist church, and that's where I grew up. Very active in church, both Sunday school and youth. Right. I guess I stopped going to church
at some point.
Once I hit the youth baton, after serving there for some time. Yeah. I went to school in 2 different primary schools. One was called St. Rita Primary School. That's where I went from. By our time, there was no baby class or nursery A. It was just nursery.
Nursery
class 1. Yeah,
nursery 1. Things have changed.
Things have very really changed, yeah. So I went there from nursery to class 4.
All right.
Then I was transferred to a boarding school. It's called Kianjai Circuit Boarding.
All right.
To this day. Still in Meru County. High school, I went to Meru County again. It's a school called Gekomene Girls High School. And I will say life has had its own fair share of me while growing up.
Right.
No, once you grow up in church and the only thing you have is you have to wake up, you have to be active in church and everything. And of course, I had a grandmother who used to be like, Beba Bibilia enda kanisa, Beba Bibilia enda kanisa. She was very strict.
All right.
I had some dreams while young. One thing I knew I had set a standard of, I will be this kind of girl when growing up.
Right.
I'll perform well in school. I'll work in media houses.
Right. Wow, that was your dream.
That was my dream, yes, working in media houses. Of course, serving God.
Right.
Because that's the only thing I knew how to do, and do it to the best of my ability. And it was like that until I went to a boarding school. Still, it was like that. I had the platform to serve in the CU of the school. I was in some leadership position.
Okay.
But what I loved most about my serving in the CU was the part of leading songs, especially the praise part,
worship,
the praise and worship. Yes, I loved those moments.
Right.
Yeah.
So at what point did things start going a different direction? I mean, because you've been raised in church, it's been okay, your parents are supporting you, your grandmother is pushing you to go to church. So at what point did things start changing?
I'll say high school.
Okay.
When I went to high school, I got to interact with different people from different tribes, different religions, different beliefs, practices, and the rest. So there was always that desire to be in the E group of the school and be noticed with the who is who in school.
Attention.
The attention seeking part of me was now out,
Right,
and it was really looking for that opportunity.
Okay.
So from that, God has given me some gifts in terms of drama and music and everything.
Umechangamka vibaya sana.
Vile inawezekana.
All right.
Kadri ya uwezo wangu. So I joined the drama club while in Form 1.
Okay.
Drama and the music festivals club while in Form 1. And it really got very interesting. You know, when you go to Form 1, you're in Form 1 and then you attend the drama club meeting the first time. You know, the drama festivals are normally in the first term.
Right.
So they're here, they're trying to compose a song and they're hitting the wall. Then I'm like, I have a line that you can use.
You're a solution right there.
I am a solution right there.
All right.
And now I started I got famous from that time in school. And now you see fame attracts. It can either attract good or bad.
True.
Depending on where you're positioned.
Exactly.
Now for me, it attracted
the wrong
bad
things.
The wrong things, the very wrong things. Because now you see here, you will always be found on the wrong side of the school rules.
Yeah.
You're rowdy, you dress wrongly.
And you're famous, you know.
You're famous,
so,
you know, it attracts fame for you.
Right.
That's the most beautiful
and
thing.
you
about
are
it.
looking for attention.
Yes.
So the more you're out there, the more you're in the wrong places, the better.
The better for
at
me.
that point.
It went on like that, and that's how I also got introduced to alcohol.
Wow. Still in high school.
Still in high school.
All right.
But I didn't like it. At that time, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Kitu si mzuri. Plus I've seen
I taste at a poor.
I taste poor. See, and then so the kind of alcohol you're introduced to ni hizi makali. So you know. Like,
unajua ikikuwa kali zaidi ndio poa zaidi.
Sasa unajua ya kufundishwa. Machozi ya simba si mazuri ya kufundishwa.
Yeah.
So I started there. I started with zilikuwa za sachets. So we would always sneak out of school, buy them, tunakunywa. We would insert them in our sweaters, papo kwa sweater. So unajua unaona vile tu watoto kwa street wanavuta glue iko hapo. So you're busy. Unavuta tu, unanyonya tu pole pole, and then your eyes will keep on turning red.
Yeah, tipsy.
Because this thing is really
heavy.
hard and heavy.
Right.
And don't forget the school diet.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So alcohol. So that was from what?
I'll say from Form 2. Form 2 going
so
on.
Tell us how that progressed bit by bit.
So while at it, that's how I got introduced to boys.
High school too.
Yes, it's high school. You go for drama festivals and music festivals. I was also a member of the Law Club Association in school.
Okay.
We also had festivals, drama-like and music-like. So, you know, when you go out there and you see every girl has a boy, every girl has a boy. See, hata mimi nataka, like, how can't I be without a boy?
Remember, there's a tension that keeps you want more and more of it.
It's inside of me, and that's the only way I was feeding it. I have to attain some attention. I have to attain some. So I have to have someone around me. So I would always fill in with the wrong things unknowingly.
Right.
But now, with that being the only thing you're used to, it's the right thing to do.
That's right.
Yes.
Let's take this faster. So, my boys, you're in high school too.
Yeah.
And of course, after school, during holidays, you keep the conversations going.
Yes, with letters, visiting them here in the village. Of course, there are those boys from school and those ones from the village.
Yeah.
So, in the village, they're the ones that have already cleared high school, work or two.
Yeah.
They're struggling with life, so you go struggle with them together in trying to make something out of it. And now you see these ones that are out of school also used to drink.
Right.
So there is no way you would be found in company of people that are not drinking.
Wow.
So either way, you will have to take one, sip something. Still, it was buy and buy for me. I got several suspensions from school out of that,
Right.
Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4. Wow. I can say I did a total bunch of wrong things. Squandered school fees.
It just kept going and getting
Deeper
worse.
and deeper, yes. Kept on going worse and worse.
At this point, so what are your parents saying? Have you become rebellious? Are you talking to them?
My parents didn't know I drink while in high school. I was still a good girl at home. The only thing they knew while I'm out from school, I'll just hang out with the boys. But they didn't know I used to drink. They only knew I hung out with them. And I'll say for my mother, it never came out nicely. We had fights over and over again because she always said no. And I always wanted to
go hang out.
Yes. The good thing at that time, I'll say that favored me is that our mom was a working mom. So she was never at home.
You're saying very powerful things. That favored you. She was never
at that time.
home.
Yes, she was never at home, yes.
So you will do your things, she will never know.
Of course, because when we wake up in the morning, she's like, by the time I come in the evening, you should have done this, done this, done this, and done this. So you wake up, you plan your day.
Yeah.
You finish up whatever she had said. By 2 o'clock, you're done, you're out.
Yeah.
She'll come back at around 5, 6 p.m. in the evening. So by that time, you're back.
Right.
You're preparing
Meantime, this time you have done so many other things.
You've gone to so many different places. You've done very wrong things with people, and you're back at home, you're seated, you're a good girl.
Yeah.
So for my parents to come to know I drank alcohol, it was while after high school.
Right.
And this time I was bad at it. Because
you had sunk deeper.
I had sunk deeper. And there's this specific day I remember, I finished my household chores and left to drink with the boys. Then it was during the sunny moments of the day. Doreen is drunk, totally drunk. Ouch. Like I was staggering on the road. Then I'm going back home.
Wow.
I was used to, I drink, I hide, then I go back home. This time I'm sober. Now this time I didn't hide it. Like I literally walked on the road, and it was quite a long distance before I got home. So can you imagine you're meeting up with some mamas in the village. Now wanakuona you
drunk kabisa,
ushaweza kabisa, alafu sasa wanakusalimia kwa sawa nimesalimika, then you're staggering, wengine hata lazima wakusongee ndio ufike. So by the time I got home and tried to sober up with stuff, my mom had already known your girl
is young. And I'm sure she was suspecting.
She was, but because she didn't have any evidence about it, there is nothing much. And then I am up to the task. Umeniambia niende shambani kalime, nimelima.
I will do it, Doreen, you can't just be drinking with boys and that's it. A lot happened.
Yes,
right.
A lot happened. Life caught up.
All right, so let's pause it at that. Yes. So life caught up with you.
Yes, life
later
caught
on.
up.
We want to see how deeper this, went into. But also very important, we want to see, was there a point where there was a defining moment that changed her life? And how does she speak about that today? So don't go too far. We'll be coming back in just a bit right here on The Defining Moment.
Prayer and prayer and prayer. And we are calling the nation into prayer because Kenya is a nation of prayer.
God
is still a God who reverses decrees and the plans of the enemy that rise against God's people. And I declare, God will place you in a strong, firm position, because he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Lest we forget.
All right, welcome back. It's good to have you. Thank you very much. Remember, you can get in touch with us at Elevate TV Kenya. It will be great to hear your story so that you can share that, and that becomes a blessing to others as well. Sometimes we think we're going through issues until you meet someone else who's going through something heavier. Then you realize that God has really, been gracious to you. Karibu sana. My name is NDIEMA. I'm with DOREEN GACHERI'S, sharing her story. And if you're a parent, there are lessons to learn out of this. Please, don't be an absentee parent. You have to be there so that you get to know what happens with your children, all right? So here you are. Umelewa sasa imekuwa tuende kaende. So how did it proceed now? It's after high school, you've gotten into proper alcoholism.
That's how I got pregnant to start with.
Right.
Because now you start hanging out with men here and there. That's how you get introduced to sex.
Yeah.
And out of my naivety of not knowing what sex really was. Yes, I was a drunk, I was a party girl and everything, but there was a part of me that was still saying, no, I have to wait until I get married. I have to get married first.
Still na devil. Slowly anakuingiza tu.
Shetani naye alikuwa ananiambia njoo.
Wewe kuja. Anza na hii tuende next.
So that's how I got introduced to sex. I had sex. And it didn't take long for me to get pregnant. That's how I had my 14-year-old.
Right.
She is a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Today I'll say she's a blessing.
Right.
But that time I'll say
it was something else.
Yeah.
I can imagine. How old were you then?
I got my baby when I was 21 years old.
Right.
Yes. I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
So after getting pregnant, there was a part of, you have to fend for your child. You have to also keep on living. One thing I'll say, when pregnant, I never drank.
Okay.
I didn't drink when I was pregnant. I was a good girl.
Why? You just chose not to?
I chose not to.
Okay. Were you staying home then?
I had moved out of home.
Okay.
I'd started working with, I was doing promotion services for Safaricom products. So I was always on the road. I was never at home. I was always on the road. This town today, the other town today, this other town, the other day. Actually, I also got pregnant on the road with my colleague.
Wow.
And I'll say life really took a very bad turn around when I went to college. Remember, after high school, I didn't go to college. I always said no to every opportunity that came up. Until now, I am here. I am a mother. There's this baby here. Life is very frustrating. So you have to make a choice. And I chose to go back to school.
Wow.
Good thing is that I still have a supportive mother and father to this day. So that's how I went to college, to Kabete Technical. But going to Kabete, I'll say, was a good choice.
But also, not a very good choice.
Yes, because at that time, I met the Diaz.
So here, the baby is at home.
I left the baby at home. She was barely 1 year old.
Right.
I went to Kabete Technical in 09. I had my baby in 08.
Right.
So once she was 1 month, and one year and some months old, I left for college.
Okay.
And here in college, I get to meet the Diaz, who really knew the real deal of life. And those were my first friends.
Wow.
Together with
fresher.
Mimi ni fresha kutoka Ushago. It's not even fresha wa kutoka Nairobi. Ni fresha wa kutoka Ushago. And then I also had a lady friend. She was born and brought up in Nairobi. She was a fresher like me, but she knew how to go about it in life.
Right.
And I'll say, I got to interact with them for one term because they left. They were only there for 3 months and then they left. But no, they had already done the impartition.
Wow. Proper.
So I became worse than they taught me. That's how I learned, you can sleep with men for money. So I'll call it sex abuse.
Right.
I abused men and I abused sex at the same time.
And I'm told when you, for women, when you get so frustrated, you actually use that as a tool to hit back.
It's a very good tool, yes.
Nitamuonyesha vile kunaenda. Yet, deep down you're hurting.
You're hurting and you know it's wrong. You know, it's not a beautiful thing hopping from one man's bed to another man's bed and not getting the satisfaction you want. At the same time, you will find, I found myself in a situation where I had a specific man to sleep with the way I wanted.
Right.
Like this one, I'll say, I used to call him a sex partner.
Yeah.
This was anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
Yeah.
And then there are these other men who are here for specific purposes.
Right.
There is one who will have to facilitate my calavanting around Kenya, going to whatever town I want. So if I want money,
that's it. For that specific
There's
reason.
this specific one. There will be another one to dress me up. There will be another one to take me out to pushy places.
Right.
So it depended. And if you're not equal to the task of
wachana nayo.
Wachana nayo.
Kama huwezi
Wachana tu, wacha kupoteza wakati.
As you keep picking and hoping, for you it was for a very specific need. But this one constant one, did you love them?
No. Of course you will not know. Because I'll not come and sit you down and tell you, man, you're here in my life.
Yeah, for this and
this. You will know we are together.
You put faces
you have
in
to
every
put
situation.
Faces. I would sleep with a married man and the wife is a friend. And we sit down on the same table, we eat, we drink, smiling with the wife, and I know we are sharing this money. Together we are eating this money up.
At this point, your conscience is dead.
I didn't have one, and I never cared if there was anything like conscious or doing the right thing. I wanted a life, and I had to get this life, no matter what, whichever way I had to get to it.
Right.
And it was like that. I can say, with everything, you keep on graduating.
Right.
Today, I normally tell people, in the kingdom of God, you have to keep on advancing. You will never exhaust the knowledge of who God is. Right. The very same thing happens in the world.
In the world as well.
You will never exhaust the depth of how much you can sink into the drugs, into the sex thing, into the partying thing and everything. You will never exhaust it because it's open. Launch deeper. And I launched deep, and that's how I got to use different types of drugs. Now it shifted from alcohol. I had started using tobacco. I started using bangi. I started using cigarettes. I started using, I come from Meru, so I had to promote my homeland. Yes. Mogoka is from Embu. Mira is from
Meru.
Meru, yes. So I was using both.
Wow.
And life went on like that. So it was hard to hold, even when I went back home.
Wow.
So there were fights over and over with my parents, because now this one I wouldn't hide. It got to a point of I can't hide it anymore. I'm used to this lifestyle, and here you're trying to tame me. Of course, the first holidays I was trying to hold it up, but ilifika mahali it was not containable anymore. And I went like that until in 2016. Went for a kesha in Crisco Upper Room.
So nini ilikupeleka kesha? When you demo my boys, when you demo mamuguka, nini ilikupeleka church?
I'll say one thing, I was frustrated. At that time sasa nilikuwa nimechoka. It gets to a point where you feel everything is choking.
Does it affect your esteem at some point? I mean, sleeping with all these men, doing drugs. What does it do to your heart?
You know, when you're on this side of being born again and pursuing Jesus, that's when you get to discover the mess. It did. But when you're there,
you can't see.
You can't see. You know you're empty. You know you're empty. And you know you're doing these things for a purpose. But because that's the only thing you know, there is nothing much you can do about it. Again, you keep on, you know, when you realize, it's like they normally say when you go and you drink, maybe you had 10,000 and you drink the 10,000. So you wake up in the morning, you're stressed because you spent your 10,000. What you normally do is that you get another 10,000 or another 5,000, you go back and drink it again. So that's how it happens. You will go sleep with this man, you wake up in the morning, you're feeling dirty and everything. But to just console yourself, you will look for another man and sleep with him.
To get more money.
Yes. And then now if you slept with someone you didn't like, you will look for someone you like. That's why I had a sex partner.
Just it's a form of cleaning up.
Yeah, it's a form of cleaning up.
Yeah.
You know, if there's maybe something you wanted to do with this man, but you can't do because you don't want them to get onto you, you will go and do it with your
sex partner.
With the sex partner. And then you wake up and you feel vindicated.
Did the sex partner know these others?
Yes, he did know. Of course, he doesn't know the names, but he knew I had a life.
Right. And him is okay with that?
Although it caught up with me, because I remember there's a time I met him. After I got born again, I met him. We accidentally met in a government office. You know, him, he wanted to come back.
Yeah.
Him is like,
I mean,
hey,
he's used to this.
He's used to this. So he's like, hey, tumepoteleana, we need to hang out. I just looked at him and I'm like,
it's different now.
They work like
we have
that.
3 minutes to do this.
All right.
So you go to the kesha?
Yes, I will go to the kesha. And the man of God in the house is like, spots me in the middle of the crowd, calls me to the podium pulpit, and he's like, from today you're turning around.
Yeah.
And I didn't make a choice to, but I had to.
Yeah.
Because there was this magnificent presence of God that overwhelmed me, and I would say it was different.
Right.
And I started sobbing from when he started talking to me.
Wow.
And the whole night, the only thing I did was sob, 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 sob. And for me to stop sobbing was for me to accept Jesus Christ as my personal savior.
Right.
I will say after that day, it's been quite a journey.
There was something deeper you were looking for. And you found it there, right?
You know, I love the way Jesus just comes, grabs you and sweeps you off your feet. And is like, if it's love you're looking for,
here it is.
Here it is.
Red to white.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's answers you're looking for,
here it is.
here it is.
Wow.
And one thing I'll say, he made sure that I will not, yes, I will have instances where but I want to sleep with a man. I am normal, I am human. But he made sure, even when those moments come and I am like, I really have to sleep with a man, he reminds me of, hey, you can go beyond this. Tumetoka huko.
Yeah.
We are here. This is a decision. And then he also made sure, I'll say it's God who made sure. He made sure that these men stopped looking for me. The other thing that worked for me is that I had to change my contacts.
Right.
Because if I didn't change my contacts, it would have been easy to go back
That's
there.
true.
But what helped me so much was this guy, I was so much into that time. He was also married, but I was okay being the second one. So I called him and I'm like, dude, I am born again, but I'd like for us to meet and say a proper goodbye. And then he was bold enough to tell me, he used to call me mom. And then he's like, mom, let me tell you one thing. If we meet, you will have to make a choice between me and God.
Wow.
And I can assure you, it will not be God.
It will be me.
It will be me.
So make a choice now.
And I made a choice. I told him then, if it has to cost that,
I will
then I
not.
choose God over you.
And so you didn't meet.
Of course I can't.
Amazing.
I wouldn't. And I'll say from that time, it's been that moment of squeezing the juice out of the grape.
Right.
I will get to instances where I got to discover why I used to do these things. Now, I allowed God to fill in that wound that wanted attention, the attention sinking me.
Yeah.
I got all the attention I wanted in Jesus.
Amazing.
It's also not easy because it's not like he's working with me every day physically and telling me to go up tunasonga. It's not like this cup that I can touch and feel. But that reassurance of he first loved me. He gave his only life. He agreed. Yes, he agreed. Because he had to make, at the Garden of Gethsemane, he had to make a choice. He was telling him to take the cup away, but he chose, nevertheless, not mine, but your will be done.
That's right. Yes. Of course, you've walked with people. People have held your hand.
Very much.
And here you are, Gacheri. I mean, are there days you still struggle?
Right now, I'll say I am way over it.
Right.
Of course, there are memories. To this day, there are memories. I'll be sitting and I remember something very awkward I did. What has been working for me is trying to remember scripture.
Right.
So when I remember something, I am like, there is therefore now no condemnation, because he will come to condemn. Mbona ulifanya hivi? Remember the way you acted, remember what you did. But I've had my lapses.
Yeah.
I've had my lapses. I've had instances where I felt like I just need to take a bottle of alcohol to be okay. What I normally do is, if I feel like that, I talk to people.
Right.
I will call someone. Yeah. I have a friend. It's a he, but he's a friend. And I will always call, and I'm like, Nikubaya. Or just start chatting him up. So when I start chatting up, my mind gets off that thought. Or other times, I will start praying, depending on where I am or what I can do.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish we'll have continued with this, but we have to bring it to an end.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're looking forward to getting married proper, having children, and just growing into marriage in the proper direction.
Very true.
20 seconds, your final shot.
There is nothing impossible with God.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, whoever you are, you're struggling with issues of life, please know that Jesus loves you and he's willing and more than able to get you from where you are to a better place in him. He got me from somewhere, and today I'm here to testify that he's beautiful, merciful, and faithful.
Come on.
Shalom.
Oh, amazing. I'm sure you feel the love. I mean, it's different. It's different. And God has brought redemption in her life. If he did it for her, he's able to do it for you in your struggle. So God bless you. We meet again next week for another very powerful testimony. Barakatele.